Hello friends, welcome to another Bluebird Art Studios video. My name is Miss Emma and today we'll be doing an acrylic painting of a cupcake. For this project you're going to need a selection of brushes, acrylic paints, water, and a canvas. Let's get started. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is take our small brush and chart out where our cupcake is going to go. We'll do this with some blue paint. I'll place the base of my cupcake about right here with a curved line and make it so that the top of my cupcake will go about here. To make the silhouette of it, I'm just doing some curved lines that we can adjust later as needed, almost a cloud-like top to our cupcake. After we've made this kind of cloud-like cap for our cupcake, we'll add the lines that come down and attach it to the bottom. Now that we have a rough idea of where our cupcake's going to go, we can work on the background around it. So for this project, we are going to be using a lot of paints and we're going to be mixing a lot of paints as well. So it might get a little bit messy, but that is a part of the process. I'm going to take my larger brush and start adding in some colors to the background. For this, I'm going to begin with my blue and kind of begin getting a rough idea of where we're going to have our perspective line here to separate the wall from the floor. I'll also go in with some pink and just start layering. I'll also go in with some darker blue, and we do want to make sure that our strokes are going in different directions. Add in some cream color. Alright, once we have finished our background, we're going to move on to painting the floor. We want to have a slightly different color profile for this one, but I will be using a few of the same colors that we have. Mainly, I'm going to start with blue and bring it here. This will create the shadow of our cupcake. So we'll begin with this as a bit of a base, kind of wrap it around and encircle everywhere that shadow would go. Then I'm going to go in with this cream shade again. And we'll keep making different textures throughout our canvas. Add in a bit of the light blue as well. We can also make the table or floor a little bit warmer by adding in some yellow to this area. I'm going to take a little bit of my dark blue, add in a hint of yellow, and create a darker green to blend in between the background and the table. Now I'm going to push our values a little bit. I'm going to add some black just to the shadow of the cupcake right here, the innermost part of it, and then sort of pull it outwards, layering this with some more blue. And as we've made our shadows darker, we're also going to make some of our highlights lighter. Take some cream, add it in, especially in the lighter area of the painting, which will be right over here, along with down here, and just kind of feather in these highlights. After we're happy with our layering and our texture on the table, we can move on to our actual cupcake. The first thing we're going to do is fill in this area right here with our cream color. After this area is filled, I'm going to take my brown paint and create lines going up the wrapper. We want to make it so that our lines are fanning out in this direction. Continuing on with our brown, I'm going to add some shadows to the side of our cupcake liner. Once we're finished with the brown and our shadows, we're going to layer in some more colors. First, I'm going in with an orange. Then adding some even more stark shadows with our black, and even adding in some pieces of blue. After we've added all of these colors, we're just going to blend these lines down. For our next step, we're going to take our brown again and create a zigzag pattern on top of the cupcake liner. Do your best to make these zigzags as big as the lines that we have on the liner itself. After we've made our entire line, I'm going to go up and make the body of the cupcake. I'm only adding a few patches of this brown to create the breading and then some white on top for highlights. For this part, you can just lightly dab it to create a blended effect. After this, we're going to go in with our cream color again, but begin creating the frosting. As I'm doing here, you can use the technique of rolling and twisting the brush into the canvas to create these circular shapes. We'll do this with the cream color until we've covered the entirety of the icing on the cupcake. Now that we have our base, I'm going to go in with some white and create highlights on the top of some of these shapes. After this, I'm mixing some orange and brown together to create the lowlights of the buttercream. We'll add these on the bottom side of these circular shapes we've made. After we've added all of our colors here, we're going to start blending in between the two. You can use some different techniques to do this. I'm creating swirls and twirls with my brush until I'm happy with the results. I'm also adding in more white and more brown as needed to make it look more realistic. Once we're happy with how much we've blended the icing on our cupcake, get some red on your brush and we're going to begin making a strawberry. We'll start creating the outline of it with our small detailed brush and red paint. After filling it in, I'm taking a bit of a darker red and adding that to the bottom of the shape, blending it upward. After this, take a little bit of black on the very tip of your detail brush and start making some seeds randomly spaced around the strawberry. Then get a touch of white on the tip of your brush and add a highlight. After this, we're going to switch to a green and start creating some leaves. For this, I'm just doing some little loops on top of the strawberry, pointing them back down into the fruit. Mixing a darker green, I'm adding a few shadows to it and then a lighter green to make some highlights. After you've finished your leaves, we are done with today's project. Thank you for watching, creative friends. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you've had fun creating this masterpiece with me. We'd love to see what you've created today, so feel free to share your art with us. We'll see you next time and stay artsy.